Well, hello everybody. I'm sure everyone out there has been wondering just what the school has been doing here as we prepare to begin our school year. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to make this YouTube video to share some information with you. First of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody, and I hope everyone out there is well and that you've had a fun and safe summer so far. We're struggling to get a plan together because it seems like every day something changes. Either a requirement from the state or a requirement from the Department of Education or from the local health department as we try to figure out and navigate a path towards being able to open our school. So let me try and share some information with you. The first thing I want you to know is that packets have been sent out to everyone. And in those packets, you'll find an abundance of information to help guide you as we prepare to open our school. And let me just say this, we are planning to open our school fully with in-person classes beginning Monday, September 14th. Now we're going to be following, like we always have, along with the Boardman calendar. And because of all of the confusion in the other school districts, because everybody is struggling to try and figure out the best path to manage opening their schools, getting the buses organized and the routes and opening times. For example, Boardman won't be opening their schools until the 14th of September as well. And those students who are in Youngstown is not planning to open their schools at all. And any number of the different schools in the nearby districts have a variety of different plans. And as you've probably noted watching as the news reports come out, that even they change their plans from day to day, week to week. Hopefully, what we have prepared for our school is going to be a good plan. And so let me just run you through a few things here. Again, a reminder that in the next couple of days, you're going to receive a packet in the mail. You'll also receive some communication from the teachers. We're going to give you a link to this YouTube video so you can take a few minutes and watch it. We are planning to open fully on the 14th of September. Our class schedule will be pretty much the same as it was last year, with one exception. We will not be holding any in-person classes on Fridays. The school will be closed on Fridays. We will be offering instruction Monday through Thursday. We'll be closed on Friday so that we can minimize any additional contact that may occur as congregate members are coming in for prayer. We also will take advantage of the weekend to make our way through the entire school facility, where we will be disinfecting every classroom, every desk, every surface. We have an atomizer that will spray disinfectant throughout the building. So we'll be working on the weekends, making sure that a thorough disinfecting of the school takes place. During the school week, all those high traffic areas, things like doorknobs, students' desks, materials in the classroom, the kind of things that we touch commonly, those will be disinfected every day. If you've been watching the state's governor, Mr. DeWine, and his reports, you'll note that yesterday he put into place a mandate that all students and teachers and staff members in a school facility now are required to wear masks. Well, that is part of our requirements already. And you see, these masks, what they do is they minimize the amount of particulate that can be expelled. Even when people are talking, they're putting particles into the air, which can be breathed in, and this is one of the ways that the virus spreads. So by wearing a mask and wearing it properly over our nose and our mouth, we minimize the amount of particulate that can be transmitted. It also has some restrictive benefit for particles coming in as well. So twofold, everyone will wear a mask, all students and all staff members. And we will be taking safety very, very seriously here at school as I continue to go through some of the policy changes that we've made. Along with the mask, we had to determine how best to further minimize any residual spread of the virus. We looked at barriers that could be placed on the desktop to surround the student with plexiglass, and it just was not very cost effective. And these pieces of equipment that I was able to inspect, I didn't find them to be very durable for the great amount of cost that was involved. So what we've decided to do is provide face masks. Now, interestingly enough, we're starting to look like a hospital. The only thing missing are the gowns and the gloves. But the face masks, these shields, will prevent any particles from coming in and being expelled, and primarily through our eyes, because the eyes can have the ability to bring the virus into our systems and then rendering us positive for it. So all students will be provided with a mask, shield, that they can keep at school every day. When they come in, they can put their shields on, and we'll make it, so that it's kind of a fun thing for them. They can be individualized, but every day the student will keep their shield on their desk. When they come in, it'll be re-sanitized. It'll be ready for them to go on another day, and this would then enable us to not have to come up with all of these plexiglass partitions separating one student from another. So this is a very cost-effective, and they're very comfortable. You don't even realize you have them on. Plus, if it seems too big or too awkward, they can be modified. We're really trying to protect the student's eyes, and so in a lot of cases, we'll probably cut them down a little bit in size, so it doesn't seem like their entire body is covered with a piece of plastic. This is something that if your child has not been acclimated to wearing, it may be a little bit of a problem. So what I'm going to urge parents to do at this time is, and as I have all along, even back in March and April when we were anticipating what fall was going to look like, having your kids for a period of time every day wear the mask so that they become used to it being there. It will be required, and the state has offered to provide us with some masks. I'm in the process of trying to figure out how we're going to get them from the state, but the mask will be required nobody will be allowed into the school space without a mask. So that's an important change. So now we're going to be going 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and everyone will be wearing a mask and a shield. The CDC and the health department, as well as Governor DeWine, have indicated that there's 4 basic steps that will help us control the spread of the virus. And trust me, we don't want the virus to come into the school, because if it does, then we're going to be faced with having to close the school down again. I'll talk a little bit more about what our backup plan is in the event that either the state closes us down or an outbreak of the virus within the school causes us to have to close the school. But they indicate that wearing a face mask, doing proper disinfecting, trying to ensure safe distancing, and obviously frequent hand washing. These are the essential ingredients that will help us to keep our school safe and keep it open so that we can continue to have in-person classes every day. Now, safe distancing for kids is a challenge, because especially the age of the children that attend our school, they're just not used to not socializing like that. And so we'll be working to try and help them understand a little better the importance of keeping a distance and not sharing water bottles, not sharing crayons or pencils. All of these things that we've so taken for granted as just part of our everyday normal life now has to change. And so everybody will have their own stuff, and it won't be shared with any of the other students in the classroom. Any items that are available in the classrooms that will be shared amongst the students will be disinfected constantly to make sure that they are not a source. One of the things that's really difficult for us to, as a school administrator, to try and understand completely is the fact that we're not a bubble. We're not like the NBA where our kids are cordoned off into a bubble and they have no contact outside of the school. Kids are going to be coming in every day, and they are part of a greater community. Their parents, their relatives, their friends, trips to the store, all of these interactions that take place amongst the population within our school has the potential of becoming a vehicle for spreading the virus. There's no way that I can control that. All I can do is trust that the parents are being responsible and being not only responsible to their family, but responsible citizens within the community, and that you're practicing all of the safe practices that have been put forth by the scientific community. That you're wearing face masks when you're out in public and you're not socializing or having parties or congregating in large crowds where the evidence clearly indicates that when that happens, the virus spreads very quickly. Every day as the children arrive, they'll be greeted at our entrance door, and every child's temperature will be taken. And this is an important clue that something may be a problem. Now we're going to ask parents to not do anything that could alter their child's temperature. Don't give them Tylenol if they have a fever, because they clearly could be carrying the virus into the school. So we'll take their temperature every day, and any temperature that comes in above 99.5, that'll be at the cutoff point of concern. The parents will be contacted. And at that time, we'll let the parents know what the procedure will be to enable their child to return to the classroom. So that's an important new element. So everyone's temperature, and that goes for staff too. Our temperatures will be taken every day to make sure that we are healthy. Lunches. Let's talk about that for just a second. Now, I know in the past it's been a practice by some parents to purchase and send small little microwavable meals to school in their child's lunchbox. This year there will not be a microwave available for student use, and obviously for obvious reasons, because it would become a real easy vehicle for the spread within the school. So when you're packing your child's lunch, make sure that you don't send them to school with microwavable meals, because they won't be able to heat them up. There won't be any sharing of lunch items. Every day I watch the kids trade their cookies for someone else's cookies or whatever. That we won't be doing any of that. And the teachers are going to be very adamant and strict about minimizing any kind of cross-contamination that may be able to take place within the classroom. Another past practice in the school has been the celebration of birthdays. And I want to point out to everyone that this is not something that we're going to allow this year at all. If you want to celebrate your child's birthday, you'll need to do that at home. So we'll ask parents to please not come into the school with goodies and treats to share amongst other students on birthdays. So there'll be no birthday parties this year. The common supplies that we have been fortunate enough that a number of parents help us by donating items to the school every year. To be certain that we're going to have all of the items we need when we need them, and the proper items, instead of asking parents to bring in items like paper towels or tissues or disinfectants, soap, those kind of items, we'll be very specific about what we have to provide for the safety of everybody. And again, these mandates and recommendations come from the CDC and from the local health department. So in its place, what we're going to do is we're going to implement a student fee. And a student fee will be for the entire year. It'll be a $150 fee for all those supplies that every student will have use of during the school year. And in your packets that were sent to you, you'll see a list of a number of items that this fee will cover. There's also a form that comes as well in the packet, and on that form it asks you to please print your child's name. And you can, if you choose, you don't have to pay the $150 fee all at one time. We can break it into 8 payments every month. The first week of every month, send $20 with your student, and we'll keep a running account on our fees. And then we'll also ensure that we have all the proper supplies that we're required to have. And that's going to include things like the student's face shield, hand soap, sanitizers, disinfectants, Clorox wipes if we can find any to buy. This is another problem that everyone's experiencing, not only a shortage of materials that we need, but finding the proper vendors that can supply them. But Kleenex, toilet tissue, paper towels, trash bags. We'll also provide some basic art supplies because we won't be holding an art class in general in the art room. Teachers will be conducting art within their classroom, and those supplies will be contained by the teacher so that they're not shared amongst other students. And also, within that fee, every Thursday we'll provide a pizza lunch where every student will receive a slice of pizza, a snack item, and a beverage. So that's what the fee is for, and the fee, again, it's $150 for the school year, and that's for every student, all students individually. So if you have more than one student, then you're going to have 2 fees to pay. What do we do if we're forced to close down? Now, last March, the order came from the governor, and I wish he'd make the decision again, because what he's done is he's put the burden of making these decisions on school administrators individually to decide whether they'll open their school or not, or if they'll close it, or just how it will be managed, which makes it tough because instead of it being a statewide mandate, it now becomes individualized, and the burden of that decision falls squarely on the school administrator's shoulders. And I can tell you, it's not an easy decision to make because I have to consider the safety of the students. I have to consider the safety of my faculty and staff members and anyone that we come in contact with within the school. So as we open the school, to further ensure that we minimize the amount of external contact that can take place, the only people that will be allowed within the school building area will be the students and the teachers. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to communicate with parents. We will be communicating with parents, but we'll ask them to remain outside the building, not to come inside the building at all. Your students will have a folder that they'll take home every day that will keep you apprised of any information that may be needed. The teachers will be in communication with you either through text or email. And so if we need to have any kind of interaction or meeting with the parents, we'll either do that through video conference or by a telephone call. One of the forms that you'll find in the packet that we sent to you is an update on contact information. And on this contact information, I'm asking you to list the student or students, depending if you have more than one student at the school. And then we need a good phone number contact and an email address. If you don't have an email address, get one, because it's going to be one of the vehicles that we will be using to transmit information to parents where we need to attach items. We can't always do that in a text message, and obviously we can't do that over the telephone. So if there's some kind of information that I need to send where you can print it out or look at it, fill it out, send it back, we'll be doing that through email. So make sure this is filled out. So you've got this form, you've got the one for the fee, and I expect the students, when they come to school on Monday the 14th of September, I expect them to have these forms with them, filled out, and either the first $20 payment for supplies or your payment for the year as well on the 14th. we really need as much help as we can get from the parents to help keep things running smoothly so that we can do the best we can do to make sure that everybody's safe. Now, getting back to what do we do if it closes down? Again, when we shut down last time, it was suddenly cast upon us, and being the small school that we are, and not having the kind of infrastructure that the public schools have for online remote learning, it was very difficult. And I want to thank all the kids and all their hard work and the parents who suddenly found themselves getting a greater appreciation of what it must be like to be a teacher, for the hard work that you all did to get us through the last quarter of the school year. But this year we're going to be a little bit more prepared. And I say that a little bit with tongue in cheek because much of the preparation that we're putting into place to protect us if we need to close down again is being bogged down a little bit by the bureaucracy. And I don't want to get up on the soapbox about what the bureaucracy has been doing to my time in my life, but ever since this virus has created bucket loads of paperwork, it is consuming. But as it's consuming for me, you understand that a lot of these agencies, especially the ones that are making these mandates on us, they're not open. They're not fully staffed. Getting a hold of people is very difficult. Getting information is even more difficult. Getting purchase requests, purchase orders, and orders submitted and filled is a whole nother set of obstacles that we are challenged with here as school administrators. And it's not just our school, all the schools are facing these problems. And then you've got the federal government's interference, offering resources, but making it almost impossible to get them. So every day we work through a little bit more of it and get closer to it. So to give you some idea of what we have in the works, if we have to close down, the first thing is today I acquired unlimited access, unlimited time availability on the website Zoom. And if we close down, as of today, currently, Zoom will be the vehicle that we will use in order to continue conducting classes. And what we will do is the teachers will come into school every day, just like any other day, but the students will be at home, logged into Zoom, where they will then have their classes just like if they were in the classroom. Everyone will be on the Zoom. They'll be able to interact with one another, talk to each other, and the teachers will be presenting their lessons. Beyond that, if there's any worksheets or packets that need to be completed by the student, here again, these are items that we can either email or the teachers would be dropping off and picking up student packets to be able to give them the opportunity to complete any external work necessary. Workbooks, all of those consumable books for math, language arts, Islamic studies, Arabic, any of those resources that we have available will be in the possession of the students, and so they'll be able to continue to work through those books at home. I've ordered enough Chromebooks that every student and every teacher in the school will have the ability to have one. And so if we close down, those Chromebooks will be assigned to the students. They'll be able to take them home, and that's what they'll be using every day when they come to school in our Zoom classroom. We've added the 7th and 8th grade to our school this year, and we have 5 students that will be attending our school in the 7th and 8th grade. And what we have done for them is we're in the midst of contracting with a third party to provide a complete curriculum online. And the 7th and 8th grade students will come to school every day just like they always have. And then they will go into a computer lab that will be set up for them where they'll log on to their academics, and then they'll continue their day working remotely on their computers to complete their academics. We'll also be offering everyone in the school, hopefully right through the door, in the hopes that we have all of these Chromebooks and everything set up and ready to go and in the building by the time school opens. We'll be acclimating the students to using them. In other words, in the classroom, we'll be logging them on. We'll be conducting little Zoom classes within the classroom so that in the event we do have to close down, the kids will not be faced with an unknown challenge of how to do it. So we're going to be teaching kids how to do that. We'll be offering the 7th and 8th graders a little more in-depth because their programming will be a little different than the K-6 grades. We're going to try and teach them how to type too this first quarter, which is a necessary skill to have if you're actually conducting your schoolwork using a computer. So that pretty much sums up everything that we've got so far up to date. We've received some funding to improve the entrance door to our school, and as soon as we get that purchase order approved, you're going to see a new intercom system at the door in the parking lot, and that intercom system will allow two-way communication with video. The door will also have a remote ability to be opened and unlocked. In other words, I can be up in my classroom or in my office. I can see who's at the door, and I can choose to open that door or not. But again, I want to remind you that we are not going to allow anyone else into the school area except students and teachers. It's really important that we follow the guidelines as they've been put forth to us. Every interaction has the potential of introducing the virus, and so our responsibility is to minimize those interactions as much as possible, to monitor the health and welfare of our staff and students, and to properly conduct disinfection to keep the environment safe. So that's our plan. That's how we're approaching our school year. And I know, this is one of those moments in history that we'll remember forever. We were part of the pandemic of 2020, just like other memorable events that occur in history. We won't forget this. It poses new challenges in a whole variety of ways as we try to adjust to what we have to do in order to be responsible. I sometimes think about what it's going to feel like to that kindergartner in their first school experience, and they come wearing a mask. It's going to be really, really kind of weird to get through this until we have some kind of remedy that can control this virus. But we'll do our best here as teachers and staff members to ensure that it's as comfortable as possible for the students, and that emotionally we keep them reinforced in a positive way and teach them. That's our job. So with that, I'm going to complete this YouTube video information for you folks. If there's any additional news, it'll either be conveyed to you through video on YouTube, or we will directly contact you through text. Meanwhile, stay safe. Kids, stay out of trouble. Stay healthy. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you all in September. Just a little footnote before I leave for the bus riders, for those kids that'll be riding the school bus in Boardman and Youngstown. In the packet, you'll find numbers to contact the bus garage. I believe Boardman is going to follow pretty much the exact same schedule and the same bus stops that they did last year. So for those Boardman students, but if you're a new student in Boardman, you're going to want to contact the transportation department at the Boardman School District to find out where and what time. And I understand you'll have the same bus driver. Boardman is going to require all students wear a mask on the bus. Youngstown, they're not opening their schools this fall, but they will be providing bus transportation. So far, that's the indication that I've received from their director. It'll be a little bit different, though, for the Youngstown bus riders. They will be required to wear a mask as well, but before they're allowed to enter the bus, their temperatures will be taken at the bus stop. And if they have an elevated temperature, then they won't be permitted on the bus. And so parents in Youngstown, you may want to kind of hang with your kids and make sure that they're not just left at the bus stop without your knowledge. So that's it. And I guess at this time I'll talk to you later if there's anything that needs to be brought to your attention. We'll look forward to seeing everybody. You have a good day.